Have you ever stopped to think about how an AI agent actually browses the web? It's not as simple as just clicking links like we do. It has to understand the structure of a site. And believe me, that process is full of hidden traps. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a really clever solution designed to solve exactly that.
Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. How does an AI actually see a modern website? You'd think it sees the same thing you do, right? But the reality, well, it's often dramatically different, and that's where everything can start to go wrong.
And here's the problem in a nutshell. On the left, that's our view, a rich, dynamic, fully loaded page. But on the right, that's what a simple bot often gets. It's just a skeleton of HTML code, or maybe an endless loading spinner, or worse, a completely blank page. It is, for all intents and purposes, completely blind to the modern web.
So, to solve this blindness, you need a totally different kind of tool, something like a silent, hidden explorer, designed to map out the digital world in the background. So let's meet the embedded BFS crawler. And that BFS, by the way, stands for Breadth First Search. It just means it explores a site methodically, one layer of links at a time, super organized.
So what exactly is this thing? Well, the embedded BFS crawler is a specialized tool that gives an AI agent the power to systematically explore a website's structure. And the most important part is, right there in the description, it runs in a hidden browser, completely separate from anything you're doing, just to gather clean, structured data.
The architecture behind this is, well, you could call it a ghost browser. Seriously, it's a full browser instance that runs silently in a hidden component. It's not going to show up in your tab list, it won't use up your tab quota, which means the agent can do a really deep exploration of a website without ever disrupting what you're doing.
And it gets even smarter. The crawler has two totally distinct modes. In anonymous mode, it acts like a brand new user. No cookies, no history, perfect for exploring a public website from a fresh perspective. But, and this is so cool, if you give it a specific tab ID, it shares the cookies from that tab. This lets it explore the site with the exact same session as you, seeing the web as if it were logged into your account.
Now this brings us to one of its core technologies, one of its secret weapons, really. See, just loading a page's initial HTML, that's not enough anymore. The modern web is built on JavaScript, and that requires a much more sophisticated approach, the art of waiting for the web to truly settle down.
It seems like such a simple question, doesn't it? But think about it. With frameworks like React or Vue or Angular, the page just keeps building itself long after that initial load signal has fired. Images pop in, text appears. So when is a web page really ready for an agent to start looking at it?
The answer is a process called JavaScript Settlement Detection. And this is the crawler's superpower. Instead of just waiting for a simple done signal, it intelligently waits. It actually watches for the network to go quiet and for the page's structure to stop shifting around. Only then does it say, okay, now it's ready. So here's how that works, step by step. First, it navigates to the URL. Pretty simple. Then it patiently waits for the document object model, that's the page's underlying structure, to stabilize. At the same time, it waits for the network traffic to go idle. And once both of those conditions are met, and only then does it finally declare the page settled. Okay, but what about those really tricky pages? The ones with live feeds or constant animations that never truly settle? Well, the crawler doesn't just give up and fail. It's robust. It saves the best data it could get, flags the result as settled false, and this is really important. It makes a note that it's less confident about this particular result.
And that little note about confidence, that leads us straight into the second major innovation here. See, it's not just about getting data, it's about understanding how reliable that data is. This is where we go from just raw data to actual trustworthy evidence through something called confidence score.
Think of it like this. Every single page the crawler visits starts on a level playing field, a perfectly neutral base score of 0.5. It doesn't assume the page is good, doesn't assume it's bad. It starts with a 50-50, totally unbiased perspective before it even looks at the evidence. And then, that score gets adjusted based on real-world signals. Did the page settle perfectly? Great, the score goes up. But what if it failed to settle? It gets a penalty, in this case, minus 0.2. Other bad signs, like getting caught on a redirect loop or hitting a server error, will also drag that score down. So at the end, this final number gets translated into these super simple, easy-to-understand labels. As you can see, a score of 0.7 or higher gets labeled high confidence. Somewhere in the middle is medium, and anything below that is low confidence. That's a crystal clear signal to the agent that, hey, this result might need a second look.
So when you put all of this together, the Ghost browser, the smart settlement detection, the confident scoring, what you get is way more than just a simple list of links. You get a complete toolkit for gathering real evidence.
And I mean, look at what it delivers. It's incredibly rich. You're not just getting the URL. You're getting the page title, how deep it is in the site, all the links with their text and context, the page headings. It even tells you what JavaScript framework the site is built on. It can pull out structured blocks like buttons and navigation, and can even take screenshots. It's basically a full intelligence report for every single page.
And a tool this powerful, of course, doesn't stand still. The first version was great, but its results were temporary. They'd get lost if you restarted the app. So it got a critical upgrade, SQLite persistence. That means all of this rich, amazing data now survives a restart, making it a truly reliable system for long-term work.
All of this brings us to a really important point, a core philosophy behind the crawler's whole design. It was never meant to be this all-knowing oracle. It was designed to be a powerful assistant, a helper.
And this quote from the source material just sums it up perfectly. The crawler is a helper, not a truth. It provides the evidence, it provides the structural clues, but the final judgment, the final verification, that always rests with the agent itself.
So let's be absolutely clear what this crawler is and what it is not. It is a fantastic tool for exploration. It's a generator of evidence and clues, and it's a background worker that stays out of your way. What it is not is a truth oracle. It's not a deep semantic scraper that understands everything on the page, and it is absolutely not a replacement for direct final verification.
And that really leaves us with a final, big idea to think about. The true innovation here isn't just about gathering data more effectively. It's about building tools that actually understand their own limitations. So I'll leave you with this question. What if all of our tools didn't just give us answers, but also told us exactly how much we should trust them?